So to first install Kali Linux, we'll need to go to the website. So we want to type in Kali Linux download. Now we can see a link at the top saying get Kali. So we want to click that link. And we can see images, install the image. So let's click that. And we can see we have installer here, x64. That's because you're most likely going to be running an x64 system. So let's click here, and we can see we have an installer. So this is going to take like good 9 to 10 minutes. So when we're back, we'll complete the other steps as well. So now we have Kali Linux installed. You may need to install VirtualBox if you haven't done so. I have it down here open already, VirtualBox. But if you do not have it, don't worry, I'll show you how to do it. So let's open a new tab and type in VirtualBox. And you can see an option, Oracle VirtualBox. So let's click that option, and we can see a download button. So let's click the download button, and you can see for Windows hosts, and you can see it's downloading for me, but I do not need it. So you can just open up the exe file and it should work onto your system. So after you've installed VirtualBox, or you already have it installed, you want to get VirtualBox open and you want to go to new. You want to go to new and type in Linux. Well, Kali Linux. And let's go to ISO image, and we want to click our AMD x64 image, and we can see that it says subsystem Ubuntu unintended and installed. Yeah, it's completely fine. And let's click here, and we want to give it some more hardware. So we want to give it as much RAM as we can, because Kali Linux is a pretty demanding service. You can run it with 4 gigs of RAM, but it's better off to run it with at least a good 8 gigs of RAM or even more. So that's the amount of RAM we're going to give it, and that's the amount of processor we're going to give it. And our hard disk drive, I would recommend just giving it at least a good 60, bare minimum I'd say. Let's just give it 60. If not, we can give it more in the future, I'm pretty sure. So let's just do finish, and let's click start. So it's still going to start. It's going to take a little while, but that's okay. You'll just wait for this to power up first of all, and we can see it's already powering up. And it's saying it's going to auto capture our key, and we can see here graphical install, that's what we want. So let's click enter, and it's going to load up a new screen. So let's close this window here, and it's just going to do its thing. And we can see I'm speaking English, and that's the language I'm going to click. United Kingdom for me, so or United States for you, or wherever. So let's click continue. British English, yes. And it's just going to mount the media and install it all. So this may take a while. So okay, after all that loading is done, it'll ask us for a host name. So I'm going to put mine as, let's just put it as hacker. Just no reason, just put it as anything you want. And domain name, let's just put hacker. And that's okay. Space next. Full name for user, hacker. Let's put that. And let's continue. Name for account, you just make it up. Let's just click that. Yeah, and this is the important part, your password. So you want to put in a strong password. So I'm going to enter mine here. Make sure they match. So I'm going to enter mine. And let's click continue. And there's going to be some more loading, of course. During this installation process, there's going to be tons of loading. So you just need to get used to it. I feel bad for you if you're going to be running this on a slower system, or this is going to take a very long time. So it says here, the partition type. We want to use the entire disk as we're in a virtual machine. It doesn't really matter. That's the easiest option. Let's just click continue. Yes, that doesn't matter. You can do it different ways, but this is the easiest, so we're going to do that. So we're going to wait a little bit here. And yeah, finish and write to disk. Click continue. Do you want to write changes to disk? Yes, you do. Otherwise, it's going to tell you to do it again. So we're going to do a little bit more waiting for some loading. And I'll come back once this is done. So once the loading is done, it will give you some options. So pretty much, it'll just install some add-ons onto the Linux system. This is a default desktop environment. You can leave it as a default. It uses less RAM. GNOME is slightly nicer to look at, but it uses way more. Since you're using Kali, you probably just want something that's functional. So I personally want to install the top 10 most popular tools. If you're a bit low on storage, you can untick this, but I want to have all the default tools and all the top 10 tools. So I'm going to click continue. And there's going to be some more loading as well, so just get used to the loading. So after the loading, we have the screen here, install the grub bootloader. If you're installing this on a dual booting it on the computer, not on the virtual machine, you can answer no, but we're doing it on a VM, so we must install grub bootloader, because on the virtual disk, it's only there. So let's just enter this one here. We don't need to enter it manually, that's quicker and easier, so let's do that. and now it's going to be installing it. Like what I was saying, since this is the only operating system on the bootloader on the disk, a bootloader will be required because this has a separate, well, virtual disk. So we'll need to install a bootloader so the VM knows how to boot up the system. So we're greeted with a screen saying finish the installation. Click continue. We don't need to remove anything as VirtualBox does it for us automatically, so we don't need to remove the installation media, which is a good thing about using VirtualBox. So let's click next, well, continue, and the installation should be complete. And it should reboot us back into the system like it is right now. It'll reboot us into it. Now it's booting into the Kali machine, and we'll just have to wait for a bit. So we'll just do some waiting because we can see it's booting right now, and we can see that we are starting to see the Kali logo as well. So this is working. Those errors are okay, and we can enter the name. So I'll put hacker, and then I'll put my password. So let's put that in, and it should let us in. It'll take a while since this is the first boot as well. So once this is done, we'll need to update and upgrade the system so we can see that. Let's shrink this first, and let's put view full screen mode. And it may take a while, as you know, this is a virtual machine and this is the first time booting it. So let me do full screen mode. The problem with Kali Linux virtual machines is that they're pretty unstable at times, and it is normal for them to crash like this. Like I've had this done to me many occasions. So I'm gonna reboot the system. I'm gonna power off the machine, and I'm just gonna power it back on, and I'll come back once this is back up the machine. Alright guys, I wanted to add one thing as well. If you can see, the video memory as well is very low, so you want to put that to max. And I've changed my graphics controller as well because the VirtualBox doesn't like my video's graphic controller settings. So for you, you can just leave it as the basic, but if you run into errors like the machine's very slow, you may need to check the system, processor, and acceleration's okay, but it's mostly just the processor and the motherboard memory that's important. But I need to change my graphics controller because my graphics controller isn't supported. But for you, you should be okay with the base one. So I'm just gonna do this and just redo this all. So guys, you can see that I have full screen enabled now. So I have full screen. As one of the good things with VirtualBox and Kali Linux, it's normally that it supports full screen mode straight away. So one thing that we want to do for a little bit of housekeeping is to open a terminal window here, and I'll zoom in as well to make it easier for you all to see. So you want to do sudo apt update and sudo apt up, and you want to do the and symbols, sudo apt upgrade. So you run those two commands as well, and you want to put in your password. What this will do is update the system and to install everything. So this will just ask you, install things, and it'll ask you for, just click yes for everything, because that's as it'll just work. As you can see, this will take quite a bit of storage as well to install everything, and it may take a while as well. So I would just let this run as this is important. And once this is done, I will show you how it can finish off the configuration of the system. Now that we updated the packages, we want to install the, it's in devices and it's insert guest additions. We want to insert this. This will give our device extra capabilities, like being able to drag and drop, like screen shares, and just copy code from our web browser and put it into our virtual machine, so we can transfer data from our virtual machine on our host machine. So let's open up a folder, and we can see here that's already here. I'll just open this up so it's easier for you all to see. If I can zoom in, and we can see here on the side, we can see the guest additions symbol here. So we want to do Control A, Control C, and let's put this in our documents. Actually, let's just put in documents, might as well. So we put this all in our documents folder, and now we want to do ls. We want to ls and we want to run something in here. So let's open up our terminal. Bit weird, it's taking a while. Actually, we already have one open, no wonder. So cd documents. Actually, documents. There we are, we're in documents. So let's do ls star run, and we can see this one here. So we'll want to run guest additions here. So I did the command uname a, which pretty much tells me what version of the command I should run. As we can see here, it says x86 to to 64, which tells me you need to run this version here. as this is for like an ARM CPU processor. If you get returned anything different than x64, you need to run this version here. So we need to do change mod 777, and we want to put in VirtualBox. We want to actually just copy this, paste this in, and now we want to do this symbol here, which will tell the system to run it. So we want to paste this one in, and let's run that. And we need to do root, by my mistake, sudo. So this will give us root privilege. So let's do this again and put in the password, and hopefully this should work this time. And we want to put yes, and this should hopefully not take so long, because I've been sitting through loading screens for like over an hour. I don't know how long you've been waiting, but I'm kind of sick of loading screens. So let's just see how long this takes. So now guys, you just want to do sudo reboot once this command has been executed. So let's do that, and this will just reboot the system. And as you saw just then, it's going to reboot. We're rebooting the system, so because we edited the kernel of the operating system to run our custom commands, that VirtualBox is going to give us extra things to do. Like we can copy things from, let's just say Google, let's just put GOG for no reason. So guys, I was able to paste in the word GOG, which shows that clipboard integration does work. So that's pretty much everything you can do with Kali Linux. If you want any other videos about maintenance, just leave them down below, and I'll take any video recommendations that you give.